aboard. Sailor, today I want to share a story that embodies one of the deepest truths I've learned in 40 years navigating both oceans and life itself. This is about Aina, a single mother whose midnight revelations aboard a crane taught her more about true prosperity than any financial advisor ever could. Picture Aina at 2 a.m. suspended 50 feet above the sleeping port. The city below rests peacefully, but Aina's shift is just beginning. In her crane cabin, surrounded by blinking lights and control panels, she moves containers worth fortunes while thinking about the two small faces waiting for her at home. Her daughter's ballet recital tomorrow, will she make it? Her son's science project, has she helped enough? This was the constant tug-of-war in her heart, the provider versus the present mother. I've faced storms that could tear ships apart, but I've never witnessed a storm more powerful than the one raging inside a parent forced to choose between putting food on the table and being at the table to enjoy it with their children. Anna's story begins in this exact tempest of the soul. Her breaking point came during a particularly difficult week. Her daughter had begged her to attend the school play, but a mandatory overtime shift made it impossible. That night, watching other parents' happy photos on social media, Anna realized she was missing the very childhood she was working so hard to provide for. The irony was crushing, but it was in this moment of despair that Anna had her breakthrough. Watching containers move through the port like pieces on a giant chessboard, she saw the metaphor for her own life. Some containers were rushed through, urgent but unimportant. Others sat for days, important but not urgent. The secret wasn't working harder. It was working wiser by understanding which containers held real value. She developed what I now teach as the container selection system, a framework for life prioritization that has since helped hundreds of working parents. Let me walk you through Aina's 4 container categories that transformed her life. First, immediate need containers. These are the shifts that pay today's bills. Necessary, but Anna learned to minimize them through better financial planning. She created a budget that reduced her dependence on overtime, freeing up precious family time. Second, investment containers. These required upfront work but paid long-term dividends. Anna noticed that certified crane operators earned significantly more. She used her lunch breaks to study for advanced certifications, eventually doubling her hourly rate. This single decision cut her required work hours in half while maintaining her income. Third, legacy containers. These were opportunities that would benefit her children long term. Anna started a college fund with just $50 from each paycheck. She also began documenting her crane operations, creating a video diary that eventually became a training program for other single parents. Fourth, heart containers. These were the non-negotiable family moments. Anna created a family calendar where her children could mark important events in bright colors. She promised them that red-marked events were as sacred as any work commitment. The transformation unfolded like a beautiful sunrise after a stormy night. Within 18 months, Anna transitioned from night shifts to day shifts. She attended every red-marked event on the calendar. Her children saw their mother not as someone who was always working, but as someone who commanded both cranes and her own destiny. But the real magic happened when Anna started teaching her system to other port workers. She created container wisdom workshops during her lunch breaks, showing other parents how to apply her framework to their own lives. Her side project grew into a community movement that eventually caught the attention of port management, who implemented family-friendly scheduling policies based on her insights. The lesson Anna learned while operating cranes at midnight applies to every one of us navigating the complex waters of work-life balance. How many containers are you moving that contain little real value? How many high-opportunity containers are you letting sit unopened because you're too busy with low-value tasks? Here's your expanded Captain's Action Plan. Refined through Anna's journey, start by conducting a container audit of your typical week. Categorize your activities into the 4 container types. You'll likely discover that 80% of your stress comes from 20% of your containers, and they probably the wrong ones. Next, practice container selection consciously for 1 month. Before taking on any new commitment, ask, which category does this belong to? Is this an immediate need, an investment, a legacy builder, or a heart container? This simple question will transform your decision-making. Finally, create your own family calendar with non-negotiable heart containers. Protect these moments as fiercely as you would protect your ship in a storm. Remember, your children won't remember the extra shifts you worked, but they'll never forget the moments you were truly present. Anna's story proves that true prosperity isn't measured in bank accounts alone, but in the richness of moments shared with loved ones. She didn't find more time. She found more meaning in the time she had. She learned that the most valuable containers aren't the ones filled with goods, but the ones filled with memories. Next week, we'll explore what happens when career storms threaten to capsize even the most carefully balanced ships. Until then, may your container selection be wise, your heart containers abundant, and your navigation through life's choices as precise as a master captain steering through narrow straits, fair winds, and following seas. Sailor, and remember, the greatest treasures are often found not in what we acquire, but in what we choose to prioritize.